Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of Roundabout Sports presented by Harsh Construction LLC. With over 50 years combined experience, they are your solutions for all your harsh problems. Be sure to call for a free quote today at 618-363-9818. That is 618-363-9818. Harsh Construction LLC, proud partner of Roundabout Sports and Interstate 70 Sports Media. Also, Crispy Clean Lawn Care, brush and junk removal. For that, you call 618-593-2997. 618-593-2997. Crispy Clean Lawn Care, brush and junk removal. Another proud partner of Interstate 70 Sports Media and Roundabout Sports. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm the Maestro, Jeremy Karp. We are awaiting, of course, my co-host, my usual co-host, Adam Frecks. But until then, and alongside us this evening, I have the incomparable and amazing Jayred from Issues with Wrestling, who is joining us. Thank you, Jayred, first of all, for joining me this evening. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for the invite, Mr. Jeremy. It's always a pleasure to be on Roundabout Sports, one of the best podcasts out there on the planet, if I may say so myself.
Well, I appreciate it. Doesn't compare too much, though, to the things you and Christopher Miles, who we do wish the best to, are doing at Issues with Wrestling. Now, with all that said, let's get the amazing spiel out of the way because it is Wednesday, April 15th, 2026. A little bit of a rainy, muggy day outside, but it is our WrestleMania preview episode, something we have done here every year the past few years. It's always a fun little tradition we got going on, and this is no exception. Now, for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, Roundabout Sports can be seen and heard on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, and any and all other streaming platforms. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, X, and on the official Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel, where you can find us, of course, on Roundabout Sports, Issues with Wrestling, the Blues Fan Forum podcast, and the STL Hockey Fan Podcast, alongside hundreds of hours of more original videos. So be sure to check us out. So I guess the first question I have for you, Jayred, as we are in WrestleMania, week, not even season, we're in WrestleMania week. Where is your hype level for this WrestleMania in comparison to, we'll just say, the past 5 WrestleManias that we have seen?
I would say it's a little bit of a difficult question to ask, mainly due to the build of this WrestleMania. But I can't discredit some of the matches that I am looking forward to. I would say my hype level would be about a mid-level. The matches on the card, phenomenal. The build towards those suck. So it's at a mid-level. Looking forward to the matches, but it's going to be very interesting on how it plays out.
It is interesting that you say that because I do look at the match card for nights 1 and 2, and I love how it's structured. I think how the placement of the matches, like I don't think one card is overstacked more so than the other. I think it's a good, fair balance. I do think having Obafemi and Brock Lesnar on night 2 is a really interesting choice. But I will say I love that the main event of night 1 is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. And with the stipulation, if Orton loses, Pat McAfee has to leave professional wrestling for good. Now, lot of times, history has shown those stipulations lead to a good outcome for those with the odds against them. Do you think this will be the case this time around?
I absolutely do think so. I think Randy Orton is probably the favorite to walk out as champion on Saturday night, not only because Pat McAfee's in his corner, so he already has that upper hand, but it's just like he has this itch still left in him and that desire to reach a certain milestone he has. And I'm sorry, but Pat McAfee not in WWE after this weird little stumble he's doing, I just can't see that happening.
You know, now we've heard a lot of reasonings behind the whole involvement of Pat McAfee in the first place, and a lot of it is because it's a direct order, if you will, from TKO, the owners of WWE. Uh, Take me to the thought process of TKO getting involved in direct WWE affairs when it comes to stories unfolding such as this.
I think it is very weird when TKO is calling for certain things to happen on screen in WWE. You're looking at a company that kind of despised of WWE at a time because they always thought the sport that they were doing, UFC at the time, was always the superior sport across the entire world. So they kind of despised it for a bit. So to see them now having their hands all across pretty much everything in WWE and making these orders, it's weird because you have an owner that has quite literally zero experience of being with WWE at this time.
Right.
So it's kind of for me looking at it as he's thinking of an audience that is already in WWE that followed Pat McAfee, but it went through his mind like Randy built this up. There's more than one royal family in WWE. Everybody knows that. But to just have Pat McAfee pop up, I don't think Pat McAfee has family in WWE. So I think when it went through Ari Emanuel's head, he's like, let's just throw Pat McAfee back on screen and see how it goes over with the fans when he's already had fans in WWE. That's what it came down to. But he just caused more heat, which you can view it as a good thing for WWE. There's more heat, more attention to this storyline. So, what's your thoughts on it, Jeremy?
So, once again, I do think it's just trying to bring more mainstream sports figures and or celebrities, if you will, into the fold of professional wrestling. Um, and what's interesting? We got somebody who's tuning in rap sheet saying, "I won't be watching WrestleMania 42. I'll be watching Epic instead." Smirk emoji. Yes, for those that don't know, Abingdon will be hosting Pro Wrestling Epic the same time as night one of WrestleMania. So be ready for that. It's gonna Pro Wrestling Epic. If you're heading out there, it's gonna be a fantastic show from top to bottom. So without a doubt. Now, as far as the whole thing with Pat McAfee, once again, yes, I do find it hilarious that they're getting him involved in this. Just because you don't expect it doesn't mean it's a good surprise. No, we did not expect Pat McAfee to get involved in the main event of WrestleMania. That doesn't make it good. Just like Travis Scott last year, doesn't make it good. Um, so and Pat McAfee has shown he's a good wrestler. He can be a good wrestler and a good color commentator. So I don't think he has like a real negative my problem isn't even necessarily Pat McAfee. It's the fact that you got these guys in WWE, the board of directors, you got this creative team, you have a hierarchy, and it's almost as if, oh, we're TKO. We'll just go above all of you just for the hell of it and insert who we want. Well, then it's like, well, that defeats the point of the positions you have. You know, if corporate, this is my thing. If you are, let's just say you're a boss, you know, of a company, and your corporate superior all of a sudden makes all the decisions for you, well, then you're saying to yourself, what's the point of being a boss? What's the
Yeah.
point of having a position of power? And that's where I think the whole um, issue is at.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And, I was going back and looking when St. Louis held Backlash last year, when Pat McAfee faced off against Gunther. That was Pat McAfee's last actual physical match and just being physical in general in WWE. And then fast forward to this year, SmackDown's in St. Louis. Pat McAfee is revealed to be that special guy Randy's been talking to and get physical once again. So I felt that that was a pretty neat little touch, although it probably wasn't supposed to line up that way. But it was pretty neat to see that happen. But I
Yeah, I
think
was gonna say the voices in his head, as he likes to call it.
if it wasn't going to be Pat McAfee, who do you think WWE Triple H Nick Khan had in mind? Who do you think it could have been?
If they had somebody involved in the main event, um, oh heck, you know what's crazy is I haven't given it a whole because there's two angles you could probably go. You can go the angle of an established either celebrity and or athlete, or an up and comer. That what better way to get started on the main roster than being involved with literally a legend like Randy Orton. Um, it is hard for me to say who I would think. You know, if Drew McIntyre wasn't already involved in WrestleMania, his is a him. He is a possibility. Um, you know, and where I know we'll be discussing his match with Jacob Fatu. Um, there, there's a lot of ways you could look at who it could be. I don't have one specific name. It's a very interesting question you bring to me.
When I had thought about it for a bit of time, and I think I had brought it up to you at one point, I was honestly really hoping that it would have been Ted DiBiase Jr. When Randy was bringing up
Mm,
more than one royal family. When you think of royal, you think of money, and then that just comes to mind the DiBiase's. So then the story would have just explained itself. Legacy. It it's all there.
no, that's a good one. That is. I think a lot of controversies that, of course, have been plaguing the DiBiase family probably prevent that from happening. Um, but that is, and coming from guys like us who grew up watching the legacy, with Orton, Rhodes, and DiBiase, um, that would have been a very interesting development and seeing how that would have unfolded. Um, but I want to take a look now at the actual card. So we're going to start with night one, obviously, April 18th. And um, the first match we have is a six-man tag match with the Vision and I Show Speed taking on the Usos and LA Knight. So we're already talking about celebrities getting involved. Um, okay. I'm going to say this right now. Logan Paul is an absolute prick, but I will be damned. He is a very good wrestler. Um, he is a very good wrestler. I Show Speed cracks me up whenever he gets involved in wrestling. I think WWE's done the best they can, considering all the injuries that have hit the division. So, and I hate to say it though, they're kind of just throwing LA Knight and the Usos in this match to say, hey, they're on the WrestleMania card. Because keep in mind, these guys were WrestleMania main eventers or close to main eventers just a year and two ago. And now look where we're at. So I would like I kind of want to see the Vision win this one because I feel like their steam is starting to cool and they need and if Braun Breaker's coming back soon, well, you need that good momentum going for them. So I'm just gonna ride with I might ride with the Vision on this one. Who do you got, Jayred?
You know, when I look at this match, LA Knight Usos, the Vision with I Show Speed, this isn't Speed's first rodeo. He got speared in half by Braun Breaker at the Royal Rumble not too long ago, and the Vision just picked up the WWE World Tag Team Champions from the Usos. LA Knight's just an extra person in there just to feed to I Show Speed. But I feel for this match, as you said, Logan Paul, phenomenal athlete all across, no matter what anyone says. Hate him or not, you can't doubt what he can do in that squared ring. But I think Austin Theory is going to be the breakout star in this match. If you really look at this, the single handed powerhouse goes to Austin Theory. He is the Vision's going to carry this match. I'll say that. The Usos is a botch fest. LA Knight, a botch fest.
Ooh. Okay,
So
LA Knight I get, but the Usos? Oh. Okay, that's a
they've got
take.
they've got some botches. So I'm going with the Vision and I Show Speed with Austin Theory being the powerhouse and the standout star of this match.
Okay. So far, we both got the same on that one. That takes us to match number 2 on night 1. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. I think this is going to be an underrated match. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to have fun with this. I think Jacob Fatu is going to win. It's going to be a dirty match. I really do. I really think it will. These guys are some.
Absolutely.
They're some ass kickers.
Absolutely, and I agree. And for this match to be unsanctioned as well, it is going to be very interesting. And I am also throwing my hat in for Jacob Fatu to walk out with the W.
Yeah, and I was gonna say it being unsanctioned. I'm also gonna say this: look for Nick Aldis to possibly have some interference in this match. Like I feel it. Both general managers are being pushed to the brink of just being begged to come back to wrestling. And I'll be honest, you see how much Adam Pearce gets pushed around, but Nick Aldis, I mean, I'm telling you, Drew McIntyre has been a thorn in his side, and it's not been pretty. So I think Nick Aldis might get involved, and he might not, because he might not have a choice. Now, we talk about down and dirty. This might be one of the biggest bangers of WrestleMania. And we've talked about a lot of the build or lack thereof. Personally, I think this match might have top 3 build. As far as all the matches, this is a top 3 build match. And that is Stephanie Vacour versus Liv Morgan for the women's world championship. So yeah, because we got two women's matches as far as singles, two women's singles matches, but we got Stephanie McCourt versus Liv Morgan for the women's world championship. McCourt is the incumbent champion. And if you have watched Raw the past few weeks, you have seen the psychotic side come out of Liv Morgan more than ever. This like angry psychotic. And Stephanie McCourt just has been unleashed. So Jayred, give me your thoughts on this match because
this match is very interesting. Both females talented as ever. When it comes to Stephanie Vakir, phenomenal women's world champion, have shaken up that women's division very much since she's stepped up and kind of just taken the whole women's division to a whole nother level. When Liv Morgan is in this picture, the match is bound to be very fast paced, very physical. And just over the past couple of weeks, we've seen how physical it can be. You took out Kathy Kelly just this past Monday night on Raw. So, but on the other hand, Liv Morgan does not need another championship reign right now. It is at the point where I feel WWE is kind of forcing Liv Morgan into a title picture on us. Each time she comes back, she's in some type of title picture. What does she need it for? So therefore, Stephanie Vakir will retain this world champion. And if she does not, we will riot.
I think Stephanie Vakir will retain as well. Actually, I think it's going to be via disqualification, either a count out or a disqualification. Something is going to happen which you don't, I know not everybody would want on a WrestleMania card, but I don't, like I said, this is a deeply personal feud that, believe it or not, I feel like we're not going to get a conclusion to until maybe Backlash. Now, that takes us to our other deeply personal women's singles feud. And you want to talk about real deep personal. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is the thing. WrestleMania is Becky's domain, but AJ Lee, surely she wouldn't lose a WrestleMania return match, would she?
Charlotte is known for the Queen of WrestleMania, and she lost last year. So I wouldn't put anything past WWE at this point. I feel AJ is going to retain her women's intercontinental champion. I feel Becky has been stuck in this mid-card championship picture. She's done what she needed to do when she returned, and that was to elevate that women's intercontinental champion. She done a phenomenal job. And now she needs to go back to big time Bex and go for that women's world champion. AJ Lee will go over. She can't fail us now. Who do you have going over, Jeremy?
I got AJ Lee because here's the thing. I get why AJ Lee won the belt at Elimination Chamber, but this is where she would have won the belt. Becky doesn't need to hold it for a while. Have AJ retain and give Becky the spotlight back in the women's world title picture. That's how I look at this match.
Absolutely.
So I have AJ retaining. Now we go to a fatal four-way tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship between the Irresistible Forces, which is Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who are the champions, versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, versus the Bella Twins. I am just going to be completely honest, and people are going to probably hate me for this. I don't really care for half the people in this match. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not, but I am. Here, the only two teams I care about are Charlotte and Alexa Bliss and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. And I have Bayley and Lyra Valkyria winning. This is the first match on the card where, though, I truly don't legitimately care. As if you know, I hate it. I hate the quote unquote smoke break match. This might be the first one. I hate to say it. I'm gonna give the win to Bayley and Lyra because they have the most fun story every week in and week out. Their chemistry is top notch. They are a blast, and they've struggled so much. You want to see the payoff happen, but again, I don't care for half of the tag teams in this match. And no, I don't. Cool, the Bellas are back. Ooh, so what? So freaking what? It literally doesn't matter. In fact, I hope as the Bellas are walking to the ring, John Cena, who is hosting WrestleMania, is on camera past Nikki Bella. That will be the entertainment for me involving the Bella Twins. So, Jayred, who do you have in this match?
Oh, you're going to hate my prediction for this match, but I will give my reasoning. This match was made specifically for the Bella Twins to go over in. When you look at this women's match, I want to say Nia and Lash Legend both have increasingly impressed the crowd week in and week out. Especially Nia Jax, phenomenal athlete, has grown over with the fans over quite some years now. But when it comes to Lyra and Bayley, I'm sorry. The crowd does not care about Bayley and Lyra. If you look at the reactions from the crowd when they're coming in and when they win or lose, the crowd could care less. They just care about doing Lyra's woo thing with the bird. Other than that, the crowd will pretty much only care about Charlotte and Alexa, the Bellas, and that's about it. So I'm going with the Bellas. I guarantee you one of these teams are going to get a rematch at Backlash. The Bellas are going to run with it because they're running on their little story of this is the only titles we've never held. I'm sorry, Bella Twins, but you weren't here when they were created. But they're going over in this women's four-way match. Very interesting. Your Lyra and Bayley are going to lose.
Oh,
so it's going to be very fun.
So here's my thing. That brings us to Seth Rollins versus Gunther. We went from a match. This I think is going to be a good match, but sweet baby Jesus, there's no build. This is a Sunday Night Heat match. Like, I'm sorry, there is no build to this bout at all. And it's not a career-threatening match, and it's Seth Rollins' first match post-back injury. Or back post-injury, I'm sorry. And I'm just going to say it. Being the host of WrestleMania, I think John Cena is going to help Seth Rollins win against Gunther. Because and here's why. And I know you're shaking your head. Here's why. Because they've already slowed down his momentum, Gunther's momentum as it is. Him beating AJ Styles, he was supposed to ride the hot train and keep the ball rolling. What has he done since the Royal Rumble? Not a damn thing. Should he have? Yes. Has he? No. So at this point, we're just going to say, why not? Seth Rollins is probably going to beat Gunther. Would I like Gunther to win? Yes. Excuse me. Would I like Gunther to win? Yes. Do I think he will? No. That is where I stand when it comes to this match. What about you, Jayred?
It's a very interesting take you got there. I am a major fan of the Ring General Gunther, and I'm a major fan of Seth Rollins as well. But his ridiculous theme song, that needs to go. But this match, of course, has zero build. For some reason, we all know the reason Gunther's doing this favor for Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably give people a spoiler alert or not. SummerSlam, we're probably going to get Gunther and Brock. Simple as that, likely so. But Seth doesn't need this win. Seth doesn't need this win. And I can guarantee you, Gunther is going to win this with shenanigans. Braun Breaker's probably going to come back. He feels like Seth probably stole his spotlight. This was his position on the card. So Gunther's going to go over. They're going to run with Gunther, continue on his little terror train. Maybe we'll get Cena in there where Gunther chops him back into retirement and off WWE screens again. You don't know. But Gunther goes over on Seth Rollins. It doesn't hurt either. Well, it will hurt Gunther if he goes under because he's been on a freight train. So it wouldn't hurt Rollins. It'll just show that Rollins still can dance in the ring.
Yeah. And with that, we get to our main event that we already kind of talked about for night one. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. And if Orton loses, Pat McAfee has to leave wrestling altogether. All right. I'm going to be blunt about this, as blunt as a joint. I'm just going to say it. It is bad enough that Pat McAfee's even involved in this. Do not make it worse by having Cody Rhodes retain the title. Randy Orton needs to literally obliterate Cody. And you cannot convince me otherwise. I would love a great match. If it's a banger of a match, awesome. That's fine. But if WrestleMania Night 1 does not end with Randy Orton holding up that title, you want to talk about a riot? There is going to be a riot. Randy Orton in every way, shape, and it has nothing to do with Pat McAfee. I could care less if Pat McAfee's involved. It has everything to do with we're done with Cody Rhodes. We are done with the Cody Rhodes as world champion train for now. Just stop. That's as blunt as I can be on it. So what do you got for me, Jayred?
When it comes to Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, Randy has to go over no matter what. He has to go over. I feel like Cody Rhodes' hype train has slowly died because you constantly is having him as champion on the screen. The fans are getting exhausted. Yeah, he's a merch mover. Let him take some time off TV. Randy Orton, when he came in and beat the living crap out of Cody, that was the highest viewed SmackDown in quite some time. That says something. Cody, you're supposed to be the big draw. You're supposed to be the American Nightmare, the plumber's son. But yet, during your title reign, the viewership has been absolute garbage. It is time for Randy Orton to get that 15. And you know how I hope they booked this match? I don't know. You may remember, but I believe it was a SummerSlam a couple years ago. Brock versus Randy, where Brock beat the living crap out of Randy and left him in a pile of pile of mess.
Yeah.
I hope Randy does that to Cody.
Okay.
He does it so bad to Cody. Cody takes the entire summer off, comes back with The
Jeez.
Rock, and they run with something with that.
Oh Lord. Oh man. Well, you had me till you said The Rock. Oh
You
wow.
know, The Rock never
Okay.
took his soul offer off the table. I'll just say that.
You know, that is true. It's kind of stupid, but it is true. Not you stupid, just it's stupid that The Rock even can be a factor into this. So, for those just tuning in, is episode 172 of Roundabout Sports. I'm the Maestro Jeremy Karp alongside the very own Jayred Shannon from Issues with Wrestling. We're doing our WrestleMania 42 preview. So we have accomplished night one of our preview, and it's time for night two, and we're going to start with the match, of course, that kicks it off. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. I'm telling you something right now. I heard a rumor out there that Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman do not want Brock losing until SummerSlam. That said, there is no way they give this win to Brock. I am calling this right now. With it being the opening match, too, yeah, we're going back to Survivor Series 2016. Oba is going to squash Brock. And it's going to leave everybody just flabbergasted. And how can this happen? But it's going to happen. And I got Obafemi winning in his WrestleMania debut. So.
Oh, brother. I'm sorry to break your heart here, Jeremy, but there is no way in hell is Oba gonna beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, especially since over the past 4 weeks, Oba has been walking out, standing tall on Brock Lesnar. That rarely ever happens. So it would make no sense for them to make Brock Lesnar look weak. You couldn't take out Oba over 4 weeks and you can't take him out at WrestleMania. That kills all aura around Brock Lesnar right there. So I think Brock did his job and got Oba over with the crowd quickly. Even more over because he was already over. So I'll say this. Brock goes over and it doesn't even hurt Oba.
Okay.
Because you can't forget, you have Paul Heyman ringside.
That's true. You never know what'll happen. Next on our list, to me, I'm gonna just say this: Penta versus Javon Evans versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Rusev versus Rey Mysterio. This, to me, is a show stealer potential. I think this would have been an amazing Money in the Bank ladder match at a previous WrestleMania because it has the perfect mixture of the crafty veterans, the amazing cruiserweights, a couple power guy here or there, you know. So I think it's going to be a great match. I also think Penta's going to win because, you know, I don't think it's time for him to lose just yet. I think there's going to be a lot of great spots overall. Everyone's going to get their little shine in. But Penta's going to probably reign supreme at the end.
Okay. Interesting take. You know, I feel this match was very thrown together out of the blue. And they just started adding a couple extra people when it was tossed together.
Okay.
And the amount of talent in this match, JD, Ray, Rusev, Javon, Dragon Lee, Penta, all phenomenal athletes across the ring, no matter what. But I feel Javon Evans is going to win this Intercontinental Championship ladder match. I say that because of this. Penta doesn't have to be pinned. It doesn't hurt Penta. It sets up a rematch for Backlash. Who wouldn't want to see Javon Evans versus Penta? That is a 5-star match right there. Might not be according to that old journalist guy on Twitter, but Javon Evans it's his time. I definitely see Javon Evans going over in this ladder match.
Yeah. No, I get it. So, that'll be an interesting victory if he wins for sure. Now we're hitting the lull period of the show. I'm sorry, everyone. Once again, come after me if you must. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Jade probably by shenanigans. Jade's probably going to win dirty because Io's going to come out, try to even the odds. But, Meat Chin and BFAB are going to be out there probably. And maybe the only good thing I hope that comes of this, Jade to start defending the title. Like, for crying out loud. Is it that hard to do? And I don't mean is it hard to defend the title. I mean, is it hard to actually, hey, I'm going to wrestle and I'm going to put my title on the line? Because it ain't like she does that. So, yeah. I got Jade Cargill winning, which probably means Rhea Ripley will win. But, once again, it's a match. It's there.
It's very difficult for me to choose who's winning this. It's very confusing, per se. I could see it going either way, but to be honest, I don't care for either of these women. To be honest, I really don't. Rhea has had her time to shine over multiple occasions. Jade is still coming up through the developmental system, no matter what people say. But the only way I see Jade retaining is if Io comes out, tries to help Rhea, but unfortunately nails Rhea across the face with something.
Mm.
That's the only way I could see Jade winning this, but I wouldn't be shocked if Rhea walked out as champion. That is WWE safe bet right there.
Yeah.
So
and the merch pusher.
I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley.
Ooh, okay. I got Jade on some bullshit, and you got Rhea, and it's still probably some bullshit. Now, we're this is the cold streak we got going here as far as WrestleMania matches. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. Look, you can't convince me that it should not be Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. It was set up perfectly. The match would tear the house down. And this is coming from a guy who likes Sami Zayn. But I'm sorry. I even saw his promo last week on SmackDown. It's just no. I'm bored. I don't have. I think Trick Williams is going to win. By the way, I don't have high expectations for this match. So yeah.
I 100% agree that Carmelo should have been in this match, whether it was a 3-way or a 1-on-1. He should have been involved in this match. He carried SmackDown as United States champion and treated that United States champion as the main championship. And to have Sami Zayn just come in there and swoop it off of him, say, hey, here's the title, carry it to WrestleMania. You did nothing this year. There you go. So just out of that, I hope Trick Williams win. And you can't forget Lil Yachty will be at ringside with Trick Williams.
That is
So
true.
I am I'm just gonna go with Trick Williams to win this and save us all from a terror reign from Sami Zayn.
Oh yeah. Two more to go. Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Okay, let's face it. The Demon better win. The Demon probably will win. That's as bad as I can put it on that one.
Yeah,
We hit a cold streak of matches. We really did.
I feel this match is gonna be it's gonna outshine quite a bit of the other matches. When you really think of Dominic Mysterio move set, fast, quick, a little bit of a mixture of a luchador in his move set. Then you have Finn Balor, also fast, quick, very attackative per se. So I think in the history between these two, the chemistry that they potentially will have in that ring is more chemistry than quite a bit of the other matches will have on this card. So I just hope people don't sleep on this match. It's gonna be potentially match of the night, and I'm gonna have the Demon going over on Dominic Mysterio.
I I hope it's a good match. Both are extremely talented wrestlers. Um, so I'm just hoping I'm hoping not to be let down. With all that said, um, we come to the main event of night two. Um, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Okay, let's face it. Roman Reigns is winning this. The question is how. And will another family member debut? I mean, we've had Tamatonga, Tangaloa, it's Solo Sokoa, Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa.
JC.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the question. I have Roman Reigns winning. I think it's going to be a really good match. I love the promos they cut on each other this past week on Raw, because it really adds a lot of heat to it. But, the way I look at it, there are two ways Roman wins this match. Either a new family member makes his debut, or the Usos and Roman now go fully heel. And yes, even though I love me some Phil Brooks here, I will genuinely be shocked if he leaves WrestleMania champion. I that's just how I look at it. What do you think, Jayred?
Over the past couple weeks, I would say this is one of the best build matches on the WrestleMania weekend card across all boards. You have CM Punk history with Roman Reigns from Shield days,
Oh, yeah.
then all the way up to now, and then I'm sorry to say it, but Pepsi Phil can't even lace the OTC boots when it comes to wrestling in the ring and being clean at it. Uh,
Ooh.
Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the OTC one, the head of the table who put the Samoan dynasty back on the map and who held the WWE undisputed world heavyweight champion for over 3,000 days. And you think if anyone thinks he can't beat CM Punk, who held a 434-day reign, they might want to get their head checked. Because Roman Reigns is leaving Las Vegas as your world heavyweight champion. Whether it's the Usos getting in there, at the end of the day, Pepsi Phil can go back and drink his little Pepsi.
Oh man, I love it. Overall, as we wrap it up, I mean, what are your thoughts on how this WrestleMania you think is going to shape up to be?
I think this WrestleMania will shock a lot of people. Ultimately, I think it will. Like I said earlier, the matches on this card, a lot of them are phenomenal. Just the build up to these certain matches were just crappy and could have been executed better. Uh, but then just the matches, I think it's going to shock a lot of people. I think we may get a Danhausen and John Cena segment in there, which is going to be extremely hilarious. Danhausen has been getting extremely over with the crowd. His promo with Adam Pearce demanding to speak to John Cena on the phone was hilarious. But it's going to be a good WrestleMania weekend. I feel like there's probably going to be a match that'll put people to sleep. Uh, as you may want to say, the women's four-way tag match. But I think it's going to turn out very nice. It's gonna shock a lot of people.
I think so too. I think this is. Let me tell you something. After the WrestleMania 40, I believe, yeah, WrestleMania 40 to me, what, and 39. 39 and 40 were two of the best WrestleManias I've ever seen. And I think 41 really struggled to live up to that. I also think some of that has to do with the build to some of the matches. Although I also, this was really pushing Jey Uso as a face of the WWE, and having him beat Gunther the way he did was a no bueno. I'm just gonna say that right now, no bueno. But point notwithstanding, I think that the card from top to bottom, yeah, there's a couple potential snoozers on there, but for the most part, the card does look great, and all the wrestlers are extremely talented. So I think like even if on paper it doesn't look good, it could easily be a phenomenal match. I expect a lot of twists and turns, and I'm gonna be honest though. If there's one match I'm excited to see, it's honestly going to be either the 6-person or the 5-person IC title match, or Oba versus Brock. Because here's the thing. There's not been a whole lot of matches that they've built right and really like have executed thoroughly. That's one of them. And the thing of it is, you could have given the IC title match no build. And the fact you put those wrestlers that you did in that match, it's still going to be great because all extremely talented. Once again, like we talked about, different skill sets. They play off each other's strengths and weaknesses. So I'm excited for it.
I think one of the matches I am definitely looking forward to would be Dominic and the Demon. I think that is definitely going to steal the show, especially for night two, up until they do some type of swerve at the end of the main event. But it's definitely going to shine bright, and I think it's going to send Finn Balor to the moon after that. Uh, who do you the special Raw after Mania, SmackDown after Mania, that good stuff. Who do you think will be the next call-ups? You do one female, one male, two of each. Who do you think
Ooh.
it's going to be?
Man, oh man. So, Raw after Mania, I'm really trying to think of who could be on there. I mean, obviously, Randy Orton last year was the big Raw after Mania surprise. Um, I do know that as far as um, some big names, um, mm, I think Sheamus is going to come back. I know he's not like the biggest, current star, but still a very established, former champion. I know Brock Lesnar is going to be there. I know Roman Reigns. Um, I will say this: I if we go with the rumors that Brock Lesnar is going to retire at SummerSlam, and Gunther is that go-to guy, I think the seeds are going to be planted the very next night. All right, yeah, because night 2, yeah. So, and keep in mind, you're not just having the fallout from Brock Lesnar's match, you're having the fallout from Gunther's match too. So,
Absolutely.
Also, Gunther has told Paul Heyman, remember that Heyman owes him a favor. So that favor could very well be the match against Brock Lesnar.
What I kind of see happening is a JC Jane from NXT call up. I could see a Ethan Page call up, Sol Ruka, Ricky Saints, just a
Ricky
couple
Saints.
names that I could see being called up after to the Raw or SmackDown brand.
Yeah, I could see that. And here's the thing with the whole thing with Gunther and Lesnar. That was supposed to be at WrestleMania 40, but the sexual abuse lawsuits and ensuing scandal came out. And Lesnar was named in it, so had to scrap that plan. But I agree. I think Ethan Page and Ricky Saints would be two great names. Sol Ruka would be another great name that would be called up. I would like to see SmackDown get, some more big names than Raw this cycle. I feel like Raw is usually the one that always benefits the most. But, to each their own. I will never forget Shinsuke Nakamura's SmackDown debut years ago. Oh, that was phenomenal. That was
Great.
that was great. So, one last thing before we wrap it up this evening. Is there anybody, in your opinion, that you feel got the shaft when it came to not being on the WrestleMania card?
Carmelo Hayes. Simple. Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I agree. I concur. I think Carmelo Hayes could have easily been in the match with Trick Williams. You could have made it a triple threat match. WWE does triple threats better than any promotion in the world. And I feel like, and especially at WrestleMania.
Daniel Bryan.
Yep. So I do feel that I felt Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams is going to be a really good match, but I also felt like Sami Zayn versus Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams would be a great match. I feel, like Carmelo not being on the card just doesn't make sense to me. But what do I know? I don't run TKO. What the hell?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that's going to wrap it up this week, folks, on Roundabout Sports. As always, I want to thank Jayred for joining me this week. Jayred, you want to give us a preview of people who are going to tune into your recently recorded WrestleMania episode of Issues with Wrestling?
A little preview that you guys may see is a lot of different opinions. Christopher Miles not being correct about his predictions, that I'm going to be right about all my predictions. even against Jeremy Karp. But, I do always have issues with wrestling, so don't trust my opinions. Just know my opinions are not opinions, they're facts. So tune in from last night. So.
Alrighty, and you can tune in typically every Thursday night. They did a special one just last night, the premiere wrestling podcast, that being Issues with Wrestling with Jayred, Shannon, and Christopher Miles. And as always, folks, you can find Roundabout Sports on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, and any and all other streaming platforms. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, X, and on the official Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel. Special thanks to our sponsors, Harsh Construction LLC. Call at 618-363-9818. And Crispy Clean Lawn Care, brush and junk removal at 618-593-2997. And as always, we put up the NAMI helpline. For that, you dial 1-800-950-NAMI. That is 1-800-950-NAMI. The National Alliance on Mental Illness is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for those who struggle with mental health issues as well as their families. And we put up the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and for that you dial 988. The line is open 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Understand you are never alone in this world. There is always somebody out there who loves you, who cares about you, who wants nothing but the best for you. Your feelings matter, your opinions matter, and we all go through trials and tribulations, but you don't have to face them alone. You're just a phone call, a text message away from what could be that life-saving moment for you. And you could be the listening ears and watchful eyes for someone in need as well. I want to thank Jayred, Shannon once again, and until next week, folks, I'm the Maestro, Jeremy Karp, and remember, life is a book full of empty pages just waiting to be written in. Make your lives worth reading. Good night, everybody.